Okay, perfect. So, like I said, welcome everyone to session two on selling your vision. So yeah, we're going to be talking to you today about the Clipper and selections. I'm really, really excited for this. We love the Clipper and selections tool. I think it's one of our most useful tools for builders and interior designers. And Steph is an absolute expert on it. So you're in good hands today. So just a little introduction to us in case you haven't met us before. My name's Anna. I am the manager of the UK and German account manager team. So my role is to oversee the team that look after our ultimate clients. So with your Houzz Pro subscription, you either have Starter, Essential, or Ultimate. Ultimate is where you have your marketing as well as your software. I've been working at Houzz for over 8.5 years, which is crazy. And yeah, feel part of the furniture. And also Steph is here today. So Steph, go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, so I have been at Houzz not quite as long as Anna. I think I've been here for about 7 years. So I'm one of the senior CSMs. So I work with interior designers, builders, architects, and basically am here just for support and to show you guys how to get the most out of the program, whether that's software wise or whether that's growing the business. But yeah, and then doing presentations like these.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. So let's dive into it because we are running a little bit after time. So we're going to go through a demo. Before that, we're going to do an intro, then we're going to do a featured demo. We're going to have some key takeaways and next steps and squeeze that all into the next 50 minutes. So as an intro today, me and Steph are going to talk to you about the benefit of these tools, so the Clipper and the selections, in terms of selling your vision and how these benefits the homeowners from a homeowner's perspective, and also then the benefits from your perspective as the professional. And we're going to go through that before we teach you how to use them effectively. So starting off, I wanted to share with you some stats regarding the homeowner perspective. So this is, we surveyed 3,500 homeowners who completed or were in the middle of or planning their kitchen and bathroom renovation in July 2023. And one of the things we found from the survey is that nearly 3 in 5 homeowners said that communication, budget tracking, and reliance on technology played a big part in them choosing who to hire, whether that's for a new project or for repeat projects. So I wanted to highlight this today to show you that the expectations of homeowners are evolving year on year, and a lot of the expectation, they have a lot of expectation on pros to use professional looking software. And Steph will show you later in the session how the Clipper and the selections tool and the tracker are great tools for your overall communication and things like the budget tracking and everything else that homeowners want to see, as well as just making you look super professional, which sounds like a win-win-win, tick, tick, tick in my book. Cool. So moving on to Steph, talking about it from your perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So my first question to the group, and I think I'm going to ask this one, actually, it can be for anyone, whether you're a builder, interior designer, architect, whichever. But when you're sharing products or ideas, I think mostly ideas back and forth with your clients, what do you use? Like, what does that look like? Should I pick on someone?
Oh, we forgot to say, please feel free to take yourself off of mute. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So if you're not comfortable to take off mute, you can put it in the chat. But yeah, feel free to either use the chat or speak to us, unmute yourself.
We use Winner at the minute,
Okay.
and we're just in the process of learning SketchUp. So basically all our sort of designs are done in a 3D format that way.
Yeah. So when you first onboard someone new, or you first are like someone contacts you and says, "Hey, I need help with my new kitchen renovation."
Yeah.
What would be the first thing that you do?
We usually generally chat to them on the phone. We book them in an appointment, and then one of our designers would go out and speak to them, measure the space, and then we do a free consultation and put the design together for them.
Yeah.
And that gets sent across so that they can visually see what their room looks like in 3D. So that's
Cool. And do
how,
they
and then they would then come back in for what we call a details appointment, where they pick all the products and then shape it from there.
Yeah. And do they give you like, do they send you photos or of what they like, or does it kind of depend
Um,
on?
Generally, it comes from communication. They give us an idea. What we tend
Mhm.
to find is sort of the majority of our kind of clients tend to be the older end,
Mhm.
and they actually want to be guided in the design process.
Mhm.
So generally, some people will have direction, but it usually come from from having a discussion with them rather than them, or
Yeah.
they will have seen we have an Instagram page with all our work on it. So they may have seen something that we've already done that they'll be like, I would like something like that.
Amazing. Perfect. No, that's so great. And I find that it's like, it's so interesting to hear from everyone because I think each business does something different. So what we typically see or what we hear from with working with designers or working from builders is that, yeah, like lots of times it'll be like, they'll start with if they first hear from the potential client, they'll use Pinterest sometimes just to get those ideas across. Sometimes they'll build them a presentation using Canva or using Google Slides. And then when it comes down to like picking out specific products, whether this be like sofas, whether this be like taps or like light sockets, lots of times they'll do like a tear sheet or they'll put all of those items in an Excel spreadsheet. So then the homeowner can then go through and they can say, okay, I like this, I don't like this, I would prefer something else. So yeah, right now it just seems like there are a lot of different applications that everyone's using. And so our main goal with Houzz Pro is just to make everything all in one place so that it's more organized for you. And then it's also much easier to present as a whole to the client.
Yeah, absolutely. Catherine, you have your hand up. Is that, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm not on camera at the moment. No, it
That's
wasn't.
okay.
It was just a comment on your question of how do you work?
Yeah.
But it's been pretty much covered, but I work differently to that. I actually talk people into having a consultation and I do actually charge for that. And
Yep.
the most of the time is spent getting to know them, lifestyle, safety issues, children, animals, everything, so that when it comes to doing the plan, I can plan it around their lifestyle and around the way that they live, so that
Yeah.
then I'll do a plan after the event, but they've already paid me for my time, so I don't waste time spending a lot of time with them and a lot of time doing a plan that they might not want because of various reasons that I don't know about.
Can I
But it
just
means
ask,
of
sorry,
good.
just a question to Catherine. Are you interior design focused by any chance?
I am. I've had retail
Yeah.
shops for 40 years as well. So
Yeah.
I've just given up the last shop and I'm home based in a studio and office. I've got lots of materials and pattern books and everything here. But
Because
I've
this
moved more onto consultancy and then I'll do the job if people want me to. But if they've paid me for a consultation, then they're free to go where they like.
This is something I find quite interesting because we're just moving into the interior design space. We've got our own showroom, but we are actually kitchen, bedroom, bathroom design and do house builds. But I find it really interesting how there's a massive difference between the interior design space and charging for consultations. So if somebody came to me from an interior design perspective, they would expect to charge, pay a fee for the initial consultation. But if we get somebody local just wanting a kitchen design, they're not looking for interior design, then
No,
it's
there's
very much given free and it's so different. It's like polar opposites, but part of the same industry.
I
And
think
it's how to
because
bridge that gap.
Yeah, I think because the dining experience has changed so much over the recent years. It used to be that people had formal dining rooms and dinner parties and everybody dressed up and it was all very formal. Whereas now, often because of zoning larger spaces, guests are kind of half in the kitchen. So it becomes more of a living space and needs more thought than just a kitchen.
Just to jump in there, I just want to rein this back onto selling your vision rather than
Sure.
talking about like consultations, but I love the networking for sure. I think, Hayley, from my experience when it comes to working with a whole host of interior designers, some people charge for consultations, some people
Yeah.
don't. It's just kind of their personal preference. And maybe
Yeah.
they think sometimes it helps to pre-qualify people a little bit more, get rid of time wasters. And it's just really up to you. I wouldn't say as a rule, all interior designers do it.
Okay.
So thinking, just going on to the question, when you are trying to sell your vision, Steph was asking, how many applications are you using to do that? So what we find is that professionals are using tools like maybe Canva to do the mood board, or using Google Slides or PowerPoint, using a Google Sheets or an Excel document to do a shopping list. What type are you guys using those things? Is there anything else you're using at the moment?
Maybe thinking a little bit more on like, how are you sharing the products?
I use Canva for any mood boards that I have
Canva.
to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Canva's a popular one.
Mhm.
All right, so shall we move on?
Yep.
Before we show you how to use the Clipper to save products and use the selections tool, I just want to show you, we have these two testimonials here, one from an interior designer and one from a builder, because selections is just as useful for build as it is for interior design. So we have a UK interior designer here, called Sebastian Salas, and he says that the Clipper tool has reduced by 60% the amount of time he invested in fixing and preparing for F and E. So it's much more efficient, and he's able to do a lot more than he would do normally. And also, from a builder's perspective, I actually found this testimonial on the Clipper download page. And as a home builder, the selections and procurement process is one of the most time-consuming parts of our construction process. The Clipper tool has cut our required time by nearly 50%. This means that the one tool has made our company over 10% more efficient. So these tools today are going to help make you much more efficient in your procurement process and presenting these ideas to your clients. Cool. So Steph is going to talk us through what she's going to go through on the demo today.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through three main things. The first two are the ones I'm really going to zero in on. So the first one is how to use the Clipper. I'm going to show you how to do this from a design perspective, and also like a build perspective. And then same thing, I'm going to, with that, show you how to create a selections board. And then I'm also going to track on using the selections tracker.
Right.
So
before we show you that as well, just a note is that how to download the Clipper. So you must be using Google Chrome as your browser in order to use the Houzz Pro Clipper. And I'm going to put an article in the chat now, which you can look at later on. Where is my chat gone? In order to download it. Let me just do that. Here we go. Because you'll need to, if you haven't got it downloaded already, you'll need to have that downloaded. It's really, really easy, and that will allow you, to actually use the tool properly. Cool. I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, I'm going to go from here. Okay. Amazing. So the first thing I'm going to show is the Clipper. So again, just touching on what Anna was saying, you basically go to Chrome, download the extension, and then once you do that, if everyone can see this little H that's up in the corner here, that's what it looks like. So everyone, whether you're a builder, whether you're an interior designer or you're an architect, under company, when you're in Houzz Pro, you have something under the business overview, which is called products and services. I think for a builder, it says parts and categories, but essentially it's the same thing. And so this is the area where you can save any type of product that you would want to share with a client, whether you're going to put it on an invoice, whether you're going to just have it in there for your own knowledge, whether you're going to share it on a mood board or on a selections board. This is where you keep everything that you're going to clip. So I'm going to give you an example as to how to clip something. So all you have to do is open up, make sure you're logged into Houzz Pro, and then go to any website that you're interested in clipping something from. So if you sit down and you're like, okay, I've got the next hour and a half to just source products for this product or this project that I'm working on. So say you come across this vanity that you love. So you go into it, and then when you hover over the photo, this little H is going to pop up here. And when you click on it, then you're going to get a pop-up on the right-hand side. And so this is where you can then input all the information that you want to save about that product. So if you highlight the title, you want to have the title, you highlight the price, that'll give you the price. If you want to manually write anything in, you can. Put the VAT in. If you want to categorize everything, you can do that from the very beginning. So let's say we're putting this in a bedroom. Actually, no, that's for a bathroom. But yeah, basically, everything that you would want to categorize it is here, or you can put tags on it on your own. If there's anything in the description that you want to save, something that's really, really popular is putting the dimensions, of course. So let's say I'm going to put that in. But yeah, like I said, everything that you saved here is what you're saving for yourself internally. So the information that you'd want to have. And then you've got 5 different images you can fill up. So if you want to get this in like a couple different views, then you can add all of them in. So let's just add those ones. And then when you click Save to Houzz Pro, then this is now going to save to the library. So if you go back into your Houzz Pro, and then you go into the products and services area that I was showing you, you're now going to see this in here. So you can do this for anything. Like if you're a builder, you can use this for like bathroom fixtures. You can use this for different like wallpapers or skirting boards or countertops. Or if you're a designer, you can do anything from, yeah, like any piece of furniture, any type of like fabric you may be using for like any soft furnishing. So yeah, so it'll keep it all together in one place here. Any questions so far before I move on to the selections? Is everyone pretty familiar with the Clipper, or?
Can you put different items in different categories, or is it all going into one big pool of information?
Different categories. So you can make as many categories as you want, and you can make those custom to how it works for you, or you can put everything all together. So as of right now, it categorizes everything here. But if you look at this drop down, then you can select which ones, say everything you've put into the bedroom category, then it's going to show you what you've saved under there. I don't think I've categorized anything, but it will show you that condensed list. Cool. You can also, one thing I will add, you can also add products manually. So say you're in, say like you're in the south of France and you find like this amazing like antique chair that you want to add in. Then you can add all the information in here. So put where you got it, again, categorize it, the unit cost, all of the images that you want. And so it doesn't necessarily need to be something online. That's just the easiest way to do it. So that's what that looks like.
And then from those images and bits and pieces you're putting in there, can you then draw them across to make a quote? Yes,
exactly. So you can either, which I'm going to go into now, so you can put them into a quote, you can put them into a mood board, but what I'm first going to do is a selections board to show you what that looks like. So when you go into your account again, so under projects, this is where all of your projects are going to live. So let's go into this one because it's the one I'm working on today. And this is where you would make your selections board. So all of your design tools are in here. So whether you want to make a selections, mood board, so on and so forth, they're all going to be in this space. So I'm going to show you an example for a designer, and then I'm going to show you an example for a builder. So what I've done here is I've put one together for a living room design. So on the right-hand side, these are all the different places where you can pull information from or pull products or pull ideas from. And just think of this as like an overall big file that you're going to send to the client to get feedback and get approval so they can really like visually see, okay, this is what this is going to look like. So first thing I'll show you is the products, and I'll come back up to these two in a second. So everything that's in the library over here, you can then add as a product. And so what I've done is I've added all of these different like tables here, and then you can also create different categories for them. So let me just add one. just to show you what it looks like to bring a product over. So let's actually bring this vanity over that I love now. Okay, and then that's going to show up over here. When you click on this, you can change the size of it. And this is still like, you've got a lot of flexibility on what you're going to show the client from this area, depending on, so if this is for an interior designer, if it's a situation where you just want to sell this to them as a package and then give it to them, they'll then have like the links, the prices to go buy everything themselves. Or if you want to hide it, you can do that as well. So if like you want to just say option 1 vanity, then you can do that. When you clip something, all of the links are automatically embedded. And so they've got, it should go to that exact product. And so it'll take you right there. And then it's of course saved all the information that you added when you added it in with the clipper. So that was what that looks like. So this is really great for like, if you just have these like products stored as like screenshots on your computer, you have them as like Excel links. This again just keeps it so easy for you because it keeps everything all in one space if you're using something over and over again, and it's much more visually appealing. And so another really cool thing to do with the products is you can create different sections for them. So you can just show them individually like this, or you can put all of them together. So what we can do is create a section. So actually let's make one, I'll show you here. So let's call this one furniture. And then what you would do is you would move all of these into that section. So add a section, furniture, and this moves all of that into one space. Perfect. And so we can see now they've got all this together here. They can close this. They can add a little description if there's anything specific that you want like to tell them notes wise. Same thing, I've made one here for lighting, so all the different options for lighting. I've made another one for chairs, so all the different options for chairs. This space here, the space that we're on, this is still internal, so they don't necessarily, when you send it to the client, they don't necessarily need to see the pricing. I'll show you that in a second. So yeah, right now this is just your workspace and what you can see. And then I'm just going to minimize all of these ones. I made another one here for accessories. And so, yeah, so all of these I've pulled over from the library. And then the next part is that I've also pulled some inspiration shots, a mood board, and a floor plan. So I will actually start with the floor plan because that's next over here. So these are what you can create within Houzz Pro. If we haven't done a webinar on these already, I know we'll be doing, we have, but I know we'll be doing another one. So these are what you can create with your phone, or you can create these manually, but basically you're going to be sending this to the client. And so this is where they can see what the room looks like and actually like envision what these products are going to look like in that space. So they can look at it in the floor plan view, they can look at that in the dollhouse view, they can also look at that in the walkthrough view. So I find, again, for interior designers, and I guess this would go for builders as well, this is really good because it shows the homeowner, okay, like this is where everything is supposed to go, and this is what it's going to look like in my own space. And I think that sometimes that's hard for them to actually really, really see. So with the floor plan, you can change the paint color, you can change the flooring, you can just have outlines of products, you can have actual products. So that's really, really good to include in here. I always include inspiration shots. So for builders or designers, like if a homeowner at the very beginning sends you photos that they love, this is a really good example for what you were saying about if they like one of your photos from a project that you've posted on Instagram, screenshot that, add that in here. So then it just constantly like is a way for them to see back to the vision. And then creating a mood board. So this is what you can do within Houzz Pro as well. So if you've created any mood boards within the project, they're all going to be saved here. So it's easy to pull those over. Yeah, and then they can see all of the products. Before I go into the sharing part, is there any questions so far about that, or about moving the products in?
Yeah, can I just ask you?
Yeah.
Right. Listen, what is important, I think, is that the client can't click on the image and get to the website with all the information. You don't want
Yep.
to, that's really, really important, because it's a sport that every client seems to do now, to try and outbust you when it comes to the costing.
Yeah. So
So
that's why this is good, because you can customize whether or not you want to do that. So some designers will, like I said, like they'll sell this as a package where then the client can then go buy everything themselves, or you can hide everything. So you can change the name so they have no idea where it came from. And then on the next page, when you actually click on preview and share, so this is what the client sees. And see at the top here where it says customize what your client can see. This is where you can then change those. So what you were saying, Christina, exactly, is where you can, has automatically removed the product links. So if you don't want to have those, see, it's not here anymore. But if you do want to have them, then they are going to show up, and then they can actually go and find the product, because it will take them to the website where then they can get it. So you can do both. So whatever you want to be making available to the client. So we'll take that one off. And then same thing with the pricing. If you don't want to show them the pricing, you don't have to. If you don't want to show them the quantity, you don't have to. I think that's good to have, as well as the description and the materials. I think that's really helpful, because if you've saved multiple photos to an image, then they can see all of it. So this kind of replaces a tear sheet, and they can also see the product description as well as the product specification. So they can see like the dimensions and that type of thing. So with that though, like, be a little strategic. This is exactly like what I had clipped initially. So if you don't want them to see all these details, take those out. Because like here you can see that there's like a relation to Soho House.
Yeah, and it also says, Truro sofa, and they just Google Truro, and then they find sofa and say, oh, like, it's on sale now, 10% discount. It's like ongoing. It's like the new sport, it seems, which is quite annoying. So it's really important that these details, but still you want to give them some information. So the product is of course good, but if there is a product name attached to it, then it can't be sent out.
I recommend just doing like, if there's any mention about like what the fabrics are like I think that's really good. But I always just make sure like the dimensions to me are probably the most important and what you basically need. But other than that, so this is good, because it gives you like last say on what you're going to share with them. And then approvals. So what you're going to do is like, this is what it looks like, and so you're going to send it to them for feedback. And so under approvals, we probably don't need approvals for the mood boards or the floor plans or the images. So let's just say we want to get some feedback on the product. So when I send it to them, then they can go through all the products and say, okay, I like that, I don't like that. They can say, I don't like that, I'd rather have it in gray, so they can comment on it here. And so all of this you're going to receive as a like big notification. And so you have all that feedback in one place, and you basically like get sign off on what products they like, which ones they don't like. And then you can actually convert this directly into a proposal, or if it's just meant here for like for sharing and for getting that information, then you've got that. I even find that if this is the last step, even then it's still really good, because you and the client have this together, where it's gonna reduce those WhatsApp conversations that like is like, oh, okay, well, we actually like still on track with like the inspiration shot. Or if the client's like, oh, I could have sworn that I agreed on this one, you can be like, no, you agreed on this one, because you have that feedback all in one space. And I just think visually it's really, really good to have this. And for, I think as a homeowner, or as like a client, that would add a lot of value to my experience and what I was essentially like paying that designer to do. So so that's what that looks like. Sorry, go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, can I just add something, just based on what you were talking about there? What I really love about selections is that you can use it at different stages in your project. So like Steph showed you, you can turn on and off approvals for mood boards, 3D floor plans. So when I worked with an interior designer a couple of years ago, and we did an online design, and I had to actually sign off on different room layouts, and she did present to me two different room layouts. So I had 2 different floor plans. I had 2 different mood boards, and just kind of had to approve these things as I went. And if it was presented to me in a selections board where I can see things side by side, rather than on email where I have to open a PDF and then open another PDF and try and put them side by side on my computer individually, this sort of thing would make it so much more just visually easier.
And so you can get really, really creative with that. Like exactly what Anna was saying, like in layout wise, like you wouldn't necessarily need to make these sections just for furniture. This could be like floor plan option A, B, C, D, where within each of them, you could then have a mood board, have all like the sample products that you're going to be using. So you don't, and have a floor plan, like you don't necessarily have to have it just for one big project. Like this is a final say in it. Like you can get super creative that way. Yeah, no, I think that it's like Anna said, I think it's such a good tool, and the nice thing about it is it's super custom depending on how you work with the client, depending on like what type of project it is. Yeah, any other questions about this, guys?
Well, yeah, I hope that I get it together. You could do it very elegantly and fast. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's super, super easy, and there's a lot of video tutorials on it as well.
Yeah, it's sort of it seems that it has to be super prepped somehow, a long prepping period to get all the products registered.
Not really. It's more so like just my advice was working with tons of designers and builders with this is just start with a new project and go from there. And like, because if you're thinking, oh, I've got a huge library on my computer and I need to move all of that over.
Yeah.
Do that later, because that's not gonna give you a good headspace, and it's gonna be really overwhelming. Whereas like if you're starting fresh with a new project and you're going, okay, I need lighting, I need furniture, I need flooring, and you just add those products for now. Once you get the hang of it, it's so easy. And so rather than trying to like pull your old process into this, like that's going to be too overwhelming. So trust me, it really works if you start with something small, or if you're starting with like a bathroom design or anything like that, and just get what you need. And gradually over time, your library is going to have thousands of products in it before you know it. And I think it's just starting new. And then if there is old things that you are going to use again, or you're going to use again, then add those in after as you go. I think that's the best way.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Catherine, you've got your hand up.
You're talking to me? Sorry.
Yeah, Catherine.
Yes. Going back to what you were saying about sourcing product when you're away from home. The south of France kind of piqued my interest because I'm often there. So
same.
if it's not online, then how does that work? Do you take photographs of what you like and just handwrite in the details and just
absolutely.
You can upload your photographs?
Yeah, so I'll show you how you do that. So just go under products and services. And so this is where, again, everything stays, and then you would go create new products. So take a photo on your phone. Builders do this all the time as well. Like if you're in a shop and you're like, oh my God, I have to have that flooring, or I have to have that tap. Just take a photo and add it in manually. So put the product name, put the category in. Again, just the information that you need to have yourself, because you can still later on decide what you're going to share with the client and what you're going to withhold from them, the cost, and then upload the photos, and then and have it in here. So anything antique, anything bespoke, definitely add that manually.
Perfect, thank you.
Cool. Okay, go ahead.
So you do need to have, of course, is that you have to have the Houzz app on your phone, or how would that work?
You just take that with your camera. So what I would do is I would take it with my camera and then on my phone. And then actually, yeah, you can do it with the Houzz app and you can add it on from your phone, or you can just upload the photo to your computer and then do it this way. So you can do it, yeah, either or.
Yeah, but you have to then, you know, if you only take the photo when you are on site, then you have to later on add that on your laptop when you get back to your desk, right?
And I'm pretty sure you can do it from the app, Anna.
I'm not sure.
Let me double check. I can probably figure it out by the end of the
I'm
call.
not sure about that.
Couldn't you do it? You could do it on iPad, couldn't you, from your phone?
Yeah, you should be able to. Maybe one of the CSMs on the call can try it.
Yeah, so this is if you're taking, you know, a photo of, you know, a lamp that you've seen in an antique shop or something like that. So if you're on the go, if you're a builder on the go and you're like, okay,
Yeah,
great,
I do that all the time, but I sort of store the images and then I go home and put those into my image banks.
Yeah. So you would just add those, you'd upload them to Houzz Pro as you go.
Yeah, I think that would be a similar process.
So you do have to log into Houzz Pro online. You have to be online to be able to do that.
Yeah, you'll have to log into your Houzz account in order to save it into Houzz.
Yeah, you need to be able to be online. It can't be somewhere in the countryside.
Well, if you have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there's no Wi-Fi on the countryside or wherever, which normally there isn't. I'm just checking because it all looks very easy peasy here, but in reality, it might not be that the circumstances are so supportive.
You can take photos. Sorry, you can take photos and then wait till you're in a Wi-Fi area to upload them, because you can get onto the internet on your phone or your iPad. Doesn't have to be a laptop.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me we'll find out and we'll get back to you guys just about if you can add them right away to the app, or if you have to do them on your computer. But essentially it will take the same amount of time. So cool. Okay, I'm actually just gonna go to the next demo, just because looking at the time. So again, we'll have a question period at the very end. I just want to give another example of, because I know I've got some architects and some builders in the room, just with what it would look like a selections board if you were a builder. So here's an example. The one I showed was for a living room design. So if you were a builder, again, depending on how in depth you wanted to go, but here I've just shown like 2 inspiration shots for the kitchen that they've showed me. And then I've created 3 different sections. It's exactly the same in means of adding the products in with the clipper. So I've added 4 different type of worktops, 4 different type of taps, 4 different types of fridges. I find that like for some of the things that you're deciding on, like skirting board, for example, like and all of those things aren't the most like, or taps, like not the most glamorous. This is a nicer way to, like, even though you may be showing them to them in person when you meet, this is a good way to present it to them. So they, again, have it all in one space where they can see what the vision is. Yeah, and then with that as well, like if you've made them a mood board, if you're a builder and you don't go that in depth, you don't have to do that. You can add the floor plans in. I think another thing, for any architects in the room, showing like you could use this to be like, okay, well, here's like option A of what this all would look like. Here's option B of what this would all look like. Here's option C of what this would look like. And you could even show like 4 different floor plans, and then anything else additionally that you think would add value visually to them for them to actually look at. And again, you have it like all in one space where they can see everything together. So if that's just showing like a 3D floor plan, and then showing that like also with that showing like a photo of what the inside of the house is going to look like, if you know they're getting any new products, seeing what that is going to look like, again, just having it all together. And then for those ones, again, when you click preview and share, you've still got the options of, okay, in means of how I'm presenting this, what does that look like for the client, and what do I want to hide from them. Cool. Fab. I'm Anna, can I continue on to the tracker, or are we for time? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, again, we'll come back again if we have any questions, because I want to make sure that we get to everybody. So with the selections, and I think we'll do another webinar a little more in depth on this one. So again, I'm in my project, I'm under selection. So this is the product sharing. So we also have, again, this is just a preview, where all the boards are, we also have a tracker. So with each individual product, you're actually able to customize this dashboard here. So you can change what you want to see. And this is where you can track what's happening with each of them. So this is where you can select all the information. This is just internal. They don't see it. This is, again, just for everything in-house. So you can track all of the products and look at them in kind of like this view and be like, okay, I'm removing all the ones that I'm not gonna, that they don't want. I think that when you click decline, it deletes it, but I'll get back to you guys on that. But this should be all the products that are involved with the project are going to then show here. So you can look at, like, you could put in the delivery date, you could put in the tracking status, you could put in, like, if there's any individual notes, if you want to look at the manufacturer, like, depending on what you input, again, when you add that product, all that is going to be seen on kind of like this dashboard. And so this is where you can constantly know, okay, what's still in transit, what am I still waiting for, and yeah, any other details that you want to be able to see with regards to that individual product. Because I think everyone knows, like, different products are always going to arrive at different times, and so I think having everything individually here is gonna, again, keep you a lot more organized, especially when you've got 5 or 6 projects that are on the go. Has anyone used this yet, the project tracker?
So would the tracker give the time when it's to be ready to be delivered, or what does it do?
You can put that in here. So again, you would customize that yourself. So you could go, you could create a new column, and then you could be like expected delivery date, and then you could put that in, and then you'd be able to go through and select that so you can see it. That also is something that you would put in your schedule on Houzz as well. So that actually is probably a better space for it. So under the schedule section, if this is all within my project, you can be like, okay, the expected delivery date is here. And then you would change, if it arrives, then you would change the status once it arrives to arrived. Great. Okay, I think that concludes my demo. Unless, Anna, can you think of anything that I've missed out?
No, I don't think so. What I really like about the selections tracker is like the order status, the order date, the delivery date, things like that. So you can really keep track of when all of these many products are coming through to you to be delivered, and keep track of it. Did someone have a question this then? I thought I heard someone. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. All right, Steph. So now we've finished the demo, we're going to move on to the takeaways and next steps. So hopefully you feel like you've learned something. So does anyone have any questions about the Clipper or about the selections and selection tracker that you didn't get a chance to say earlier on when Steph was demoing? Anything you want to talk about now? No.
So can I just ask you something? Because I had a difficulty to sign in, so I came in 15 minutes later.
Yeah,
I don't know
about
that work.
Sorry about that.
With regards to it's all right. With regards to the Clipper, like, there are images, of course, when you're researching, coming up all the time with the Clipper thingy on it. So you would just click on that symbol, and then it would be put into your library, or how would that work?
It pops up. Do you want me to show it one more time?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so basically, I'll just show you my screen. So just make sure that you logged in Houzz Pro. So go onto your computer, log into Houzz Pro just so it's open, and then from there, as long as you can see that it's here and the extensions there, then you can go to anything. So if you just go to, I'm just going to go to a new website just to show you. So if you go to John Lewis, and then let's go into furniture, and then let's go into lighting, and then let's go into here. So I'm just going to pick this lamp. Okay, so I'm ready to add it. The H is right here. I click on this, And just make sure you're logged into Houzz Pro first. Like as long as it's open and you're logged in, then this will come up. And then from here, that's when you can start adding everything else in.
Houzz Pro already before you're starting clicking in the images.
Yeah. So just make sure you're logged in. Otherwise, yeah, it's not going to know, because if you're not logged in, it's not going to think of where to save it to.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then Hugh, I'm just going to go back to your question. So yeah, so when you're adding something, this is where you put the category in. And so if you want all of this to be categorized as like lighting, then you would add that in right away. And then when you're searching later on in the product library, since it's tagged, it's going to come up as like one of the things that you've saved under lighting.
And then you can save the supplier. So say if you always shop from John Lewis or Soho Home or whatever it is, you save that as a supplier, and you can then also save it directly into a project and a room for that project. So say you're doing a whole home and you're clipping products for the bedroom and the living room at the same time, and you want to get that done today, you can then put it straight into that board and straight into that project. So I do recommend
that saves a lot of time.
Yeah, that's really, really good, because that's what I do now. Every project has, even if I have a lighting library, if I have a project, I put everything that I find for that project into that project. So then I know this is what is sort of dedicated for that.
Yeah, it will actually create a short list for you. So if I go into one of my projects, so if I had gone through and I'd categorized everything, when you go into the boards, let me just show you an example. This happens for the mood boards as well. So it will say on the right-hand side, instead of dragging from my full library, I can drag from the project items. So if I've gone through and I've spent the last 2 hours sourcing and I've added them all to this specific project, it's going to create that short list where you can then pull them over. I mean, the other nice thing is that like the library, because it just goes in the most recent ones, obviously those ones are going to be at the top. But say like if you're doing 2 at the same time, it's really good. Like if you're looking for 2 different projects at the same time, as soon as you change the product detail on it, like one will go one way, one will go the other. And so it's really, really easy and then so if you switch projects and went into the other one, those would all be there, and it would just be those ones that you've recently sourced.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Cool.
Perfect. All right. Any other questions on that? Cool. So hopefully you feel like you can benefit from these features. So can I have a show of hands or someone to take themselves off of mute, and they can let us know if they can see how their business would benefit from using the Clipper, the selections, and the selections tracker. Hayley, amazing. Lisa Lewis, lovely.
Yeah, thanks. No, the selections is incredible. I've never really used it. I use your mood boards. I use mood boards, but I think the selections is just kind of one step further, isn't it?
It's so good. Yeah, I think because like the mood boards go within the selections, it's just such like a good way to present everything all together. One thing I didn't do is that sometimes like I know that a lot of designers will use Canva for like an overall presentation, because that's what they love to do. If you have a file or a presentation that you've made elsewhere, you can actually add that in as well. So if you want, like when you send the selections board, if you want that file or that slideshow to be the very first thing that you send over, then they can have that as well. And then they click on it, it downloads, they can go through everything.
How would you add that? If that
Yeah, let me show
easy
you.
to add, because I've created a full presentation slide for a mood board before we got Houzz in Canva, and it's just obviously from a consistency point of view, it fits my brand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Most like designers that I've worked with will do that first, and so you would just add it as a file, and so it's like the same as adding it as an image. And then I would always just make that one really big. So I don't have one to use, but let's just say it uploaded, it's going to look just like this. I would actually make that one large, and I would have that at the very top, and then I would have everything else underneath it. So you would just call this one kitchen design presentation, or you would call it like S. Lauren Interiors presentation for whoever, and then everything else would go below it. So yeah, you can pretty much like add anything in here. You can I a lot of times will take screenshots too, like if it's if it's like a inspiration shot that I love, I'll just go into Pinterest and be like, oh, you know what, like this really fits the vibe. I'll take a screenshot of it, and then let me just show you how to do this as well. I'll take a screenshot and go, okay, I love the looks of this. And then when I go back in to my selections, I would just click on images and then go add new. And then my newest one is going to be there. And then it's going to add this in. And then I would change that to inspo shot. And then make it bigger. And you can move all these around. Honestly, I think once you make your first one, then you realize how creative you can get with them. Yeah, and I think like for architects as well, like if you have like a full presentation that you want to give them, I would make that like the first slide. And then yeah, say if you wanted to have like different types of furniture or different types of finishes, or like depending on how involved you are in the build, what that's going to look like. And same for builders, I think that would be really, really good too. Or you could also have, if you're a builder and you don't want to use a Houzz 3D floor plan, you've got plans from somewhere else, you could actually have like those plans as your first like large like item at the top, and then have like the breakdown of like, okay, this is like everything we're going to include in the bedroom, this is going to be everything we're going to include in the downstairs bathroom. It totally depends on how, again, what you're doing, and I think that that's one of the best things about it.
Great. Any final questions on that? Hugh, it looks like you were poised.
Which tool did you use to do the screenshot in Houzz? I missed that.
I used what is it, you guys? Is it Control or Command Shift 4?
Yes, it's not a tool. It depends what computer you're using. Are you using a MacBook or a Dell or something like that?
Just normal PC.
PC. So you will be able to, so that it will be embedded as like with
Okay.
computer. So if you
Yeah.
can Google how to take a screenshot on PC.
That's okay. I've got a tool for that. I didn't know if there was one in Houzz. You did it so quickly.
No.
I thought, well, I missed something.
Sorry.
Okay.
No, that's on the keyboard itself. Yeah, so on Mac it's like Command Shift 4. I think on like Windows PC it's Control Shift 4.
Yeah.
So you just do it on your keyboard and you go bing bing bing, and then you just take what you want to screenshot.
Like
so I think you can do it on like QuickTime Screen Recorder if you have that downloaded. But yeah, no, it's not us, it's our keyboards. So you'll have that too. Perfect. Okay. So guys, I put in the chat a short link to a survey. I would really, really appreciate it if you could complete that, just to give us some feedback on what you want to see next, how you felt about this session, what you thought of Steph and I. It's all going to really help us prepare for future sessions as well. And then finally, just one final thing, I realized I wasn't sharing again. We have some more sessions upcoming. So in Q3, which crazy to me, it's right around the corner, we have some different types of webinars called the Summer Club Seminars. I'll be hosting one of those with our editor Amanda, and we'll be talking about professional photography and kind of doing a class on photo styling and how to get good photos. There's also going to be a session on sustainability, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And then also in Q4, as per usual, we have an in-person academy in the London office, and this is booked, I think it's the 24th of November. It's definitely November, so nearer the time you'll get some information about that, and we hope to see you there. So yeah, thank you everyone for your attention and for attending today. So sorry about the link. Everyone has a lovely rest of their day.
Thanks everyone.
So much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.